The reason your self-doubt feels so overwhelming isn't because you lack confidence. It's because your personality type creates a perfect storm for internal conflict. The same cognitive functions that give you powerful insights are systematically programmed to question those insights, creating what psychologists call the INFJ doubt loop. In today's video, I'll explain the 5 primary manifestations of this loop and the specific psychological techniques for transforming each one. These strategies are based on understanding your unique cognitive functions, not generic confidence advice. By the end, you'll see your sensitivity and intuition in a completely different light. Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. And if you are looking to achieve a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click a link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test, the INFJ Cognitive Function Paradox. As an INFJ, you possess a unique cognitive architecture that creates the perfect conditions for self-doubt to flourish. Imagine living with an internal contradiction constantly pulling you in opposite directions. The core of this contradiction is the relationship between your dominant and auxiliary functions. Your primary cognitive function, introverted intuition, gives you profound insights and a keen ability to see beneath the surface. It's like having access to a sixth sense that connects patterns and generates those aha moments that seem to come from nowhere. This function gives you incredible foresight and depth of understanding. Your secondary function, extraverted feeling, constantly scans your environment for social cues and external validation. This creates a fundamental tension. Imagine a chess player with an extraordinary strategic vision whose every move must be approved by a committee of observers. Your need for external harmony and validation continuously questions your strongest cognitive gift, intuition. You inherently distrust the very thing you're best at. Your intuition provides clear direction, but your feeling function makes you second guess it when it doesn't align with external expectations. This isn't a character flaw. It's how your cognitive functions are designed to interact. This internal contradiction manifests as the introverted intuition introverted thinking loop. When your extroverted feeling function feels threatened, you retreat from external validation into a cycle in which your introverted intuition gets trapped in analysis by your tertiary function, introverted thinking. Consider choosing a dinner location. Your intuition immediately suggests the perfect place, but you spend hours researching menus and reading reviews and ultimately feel paralyzed by indecision while your friends wait impatiently. The good news is that this isn't your fault. It's not a personal failing. It's how your brain processes information. Understanding this pattern allows you to see your self-doubt not as some fundamental truth about your inadequacy, but as a predictable outcome of your cognitive structure. This awareness forms the foundation for developing strategic approaches that work with your unique mental wiring rather than against it. The 5 psychological mechanisms behind INFJ self-doubt. Now that you understand the cognitive architecture behind your self-doubt, let's examine how it manifests through 5 distinct psychological mechanisms in your daily life. While most personality types experience occasional uncertainty, for INFJs, self-doubt operates through specific channels that transform your greatest strengths into sources of internal conflict. Mechanism number 1, perfectionism. As an INFJ, your idealism creates unrealistically high standards for yourself. Thanks to your intuition, you envision perfect outcomes with crystal clear vision. But when reality inevitably falls short, the gap between your dreams and abilities reinforces feelings of inadequacy. This isn't random dissatisfaction. It's a direct result of your mind's natural idealistic tendencies. Your introverted intuition function setting standards few could meet. Mechanism number 2, overthinking. Remember that introverted intuition, introverted thinking loop we discussed? This is where it creates real damage. When your analytical mind takes your intuitive insights and subjects them to endless scrutiny, you become trapped in a cycle of second guessing. You replay conversations, decisions, and interactions, questioning whether you could have done better, said something differently, or made a wiser choice. A natural extension of perfectionism, but focused on process rather than outcome. Mechanism number 3, excessive empathy. Your extroverted feeling function automatically drives you to prioritize others' needs over yours. This isn't just being nice, it's a compulsive response that can lead to self-neglect. When you constantly worry about how your actions affect others, you experience emotional exhaustion and guilt whenever you try to focus on your own needs. Mechanism number 4, imposter syndrome. As an INFJ, you're particularly vulnerable to feeling that your achievements are due to luck rather than skill. You question your place in personal and and professional settings, wondering when others will discover you don't belong. This isn't just generic insecurity, it's a specific pattern tied to how your personality processes validation. Mechanism number 5, validation seeking. Relying on external approval to measure your worth can lead to feelings of loss or inadequateness when such validation is absent. This dependence fundamentally undermines your self-esteem and decision-making ability, as you constantly check outside yourself for confirmation rather than trusting your powerful intuition. This cognitive function should be your greatest strength. Breaking the myths. The false narratives INFJs tell themselves. Your validation seeking isn't just a passing habit, it's the visible symptom of something far more insidious beneath the surface. These 5 psychological mechanisms actively generate false narratives about who you are. Stories that feel undeniably true despite having no foundation in reality. Like actors reading from a well-worn script, you've been reinforcing these fictional accounts your entire life without realizing you have the power to rewrite them. When these narratives crystallize in your mind, they don't just create fleeting moments of self-doubt, they construct entire false realities that you accept as truth without question. Each narrative forms a piece in the complex puzzle of your self-perception. Let me show you exactly how this happens. The imposter syndrome narrative convinces you that your achievements are purely the result of luck rather than your skills and efforts. This isn't just occasional uncertainty, it's a persistent belief system that makes you constantly question your place in both personal and professional settings. The inadequacy narrative tells you you'll never be enough because you can't meet your standards. This story is not only disappointing, but also paralyzing. The gap between your idealized self and your perception of your current abilities creates persistent frustration that undermines your confidence. The burden narrative transforms your natural sensitivity into a perceived weakness. As an INFJ, you prioritize others' needs above your own, draining your energy and preventing you from pursuing your goals. The validation narrative makes external approval seem essential rather than optional. It convinces you that you need constant reassurance from others to confirm your worth, creating a fragile sense of self. Finally, the uniqueness narrative isolates you by convincing you that no one understands me, so I must be fundamentally flawed. This belief reinforces feelings of isolation, creating a cycle of further withdrawal, confirming your suspicion that you're somehow broken. The INFJ Confidence Toolkit. 5 practical exercises. Those narratives might feel real, but they aren't your destiny. What if the same cognitive functions fueling your self-doubt could become the foundation of unshakable confidence? This isn't about fighting against your INFJ nature. It's about working with it in ways you've never been taught before. Let me introduce you to 5 practical exercises that form a toolkit designed for your INFJ mind. These aren't generic confidence boosters. They're precision tools crafted to work with your cognitive functions, transforming your natural tendencies into sources of genuine confidence rather than working against them. Number 1, the Intuition Journal. Your intuition is powerful as an INFJ, but you've been trained to doubt it. Start documenting every instance when your intuition was correct, when you predicted how a situation would unfold, or sensed a problem before it became apparent. This creates tangible evidence that builds trust in your insights over time. Number 2, the Perfectionism Pivot. Instead of abandoning your idealistic visions, use them to create realistic progress metrics. Your perfectionism isn't the enemy, it's just been misdirected. Break down your ideals into smaller, achievable benchmarks that honor your high standards while preventing that crushing feeling of inadequacy. Number 3, the Empathy Redirect. You're exceptional at understanding others' emotions, but what about yourself? Practice applying your empathetic abilities to yourself first. What would you say to a friend feeling what you're feeling? Give yourself the same compassion you so readily offer others. Number 4, the Decision Timer. This will help prevent the introverted intuition, introverted thinking loop from trapping you in analysis paralysis. Set specific time limits for decisions based on their importance. Not every choice deserves endless consideration. Sometimes good enough is good enough. Number 5, the Evidence Collection. Document your achievements and positive feedback to gather concrete proof against your your false narratives. When your mind says, "I'm not good enough," you'll have reality-based ammunition to fight back with evidence of your capabilities. The INFJ strength paradigm, transforming sensitivity into power. What if everything you've been told about sensitivity is a lie crafted to keep your brilliance hidden? Those techniques in your evidence folder are valuable, but they're just the beginning of a deeper transformation. The real breakthrough happens when you stop seeing your natural INFJ qualities as problems to overcome and start recognizing them as your hidden advantages in a world that desperately needs what you naturally bring. Society has fed you a dangerous lie. It's convinced you that sensitivity is weakness, deep thinking is overthinking, and your intuition is just overthinking in disguise. This messaging wasn't an accident, it's the natural result of a world designed for the majority. But what if we flip the script entirely? Your sensitivity isn't a liability. Sophisticated emotional intelligence gives you access to layers of information others simply can't perceive. Where others see surface-level interactions, you detect the undercurrents of unspoken needs and motivations. This isn't being too sensitive, having high-definition emotional perception in a world of standard definition, a rare gift that less than 2% of the population possesses. That thoroughness you've been calling overthinking produces more comprehensive and nuanced decisions. While others rush to conclusions, your natural tendency to examine all angles often leads to solutions that address root causes rather than symptoms. Your depth of analysis isn't excessive, it's exceptionally valuable in complex situations where others miss critical details. Your empathy, far from making you vulnerable, is a profound leadership quality. Research shows that INFJs who stop seeking external validation and embrace their authentic selves experience a remarkable transformation. The fear of triggering others often keeps INFJs playing small, but when overcome, they can take up space unapologetically and express their full capabilities. Even your self-awareness, which sometimes turns into harsh self-criticism, is the foundation for genuine growth. It allows you to reflect on experiences and extract meaningful lessons that others might miss entirely. These weird traits are your superpowers. Embrace them and watch your true potential unfold. As we reach the end of our journey, let me leave you with this powerful truth. Self-doubt isn't hardwired into your INFJ personality. It's simply a learned response that's developed over time. The research confirms what we've explored today. Embracing your sensitivity and intuition as strengths can fundamentally transform how you view yourself. Your strength is your uniqueness as the rarest personality type, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Statistics show that your empathy and insight aren't weaknesses, but specialized tools valued in today's landscape, especially in fields requiring emotional intelligence. By recognizing these qualities as positive contributions, you can shift from self-doubt to self-acceptance. Your INFJ traits form the foundation for authentic confidence. Today, identify one situation where your sensitivity provided insight that others missed. This isn't something to apologize for, but it is your greatest power source when properly channeled. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.